Hey, it is June the 10th, 2018, and I wanted to make a video specifically in which we carefully watch the video clip that we've seen. We've seen it a number of times, obviously. Everybody here has seen it. But I wanted to watch it just one more time with y'all and kind of study it and slowly analyze it. Right? Because a lot of people have questions, a lot of people have their own concerns about it. There's a lot of people out there who, oddly enough, find this to be some sort of evidence incriminating Nik Cruz, which we're going to discuss as to why that isn't necessarily the case. If anything, it's what they would call circumstantial evidence, which does not really hold up in the court of law. Anyways, we were going to go ahead and discuss this, so let's go ahead and dive into the video in question to see and share about what is so weird concerning this video.
My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds. I think I could get done. Location is Stone Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event. And when you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am. You're all going to die. Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Alright, so we're going to watch the rest of the video. But I did want to stop right there because that's the portion of the video in which you see Nikolas's face. Now, I noticed that there's some people out there who are discussing the particular detail. The fact is that his lips don't exactly sync up with the audio, the words that you're hearing. Alright, some people took note of that and wondered to themselves, and they wondered on the internet whether or not those are the words that he's saying, or whether or not maybe they were dubbed over and things of this nature. Well, I would agree that everything is worth speculating on and getting to the bottom of. And is it completely possible? It would be completely possible to be able to dub over somebody's tape and have them saying something that they didn't necessarily say. Although that is a possibility, I wanted to draw attention to the fact is that even if this was a real video, and it likely is, but even if it definitely was real, and Nik Cruz definitely made this video, I mean, there he is, there's his face. I want to draw attention to the fact is, and we mentioned it before, that his words are completely without passion. Alright, you're talking about a crime of passion. Alright, but the way that he's talking, he has none. There's no emphasis on anything necessarily. If you were to go back and listen to it again, which a lot of people have done lots of times, you're going to find that not only is it dispassionate and ungenuine, but lots of times, it just won't, it doesn't correlate. The whole of his little message that's putting out there, it's kind of, it doesn't sit well. It doesn't all add up. You're gonna hear him saying things that don't exactly mesh well with other things that he's saying. It's almost incoherent, right? But more to the point, it's very disingenuous. It sounds like somebody reading a script. And so before we go any further, let's just take it back to the beginning and listen to him and imagine as though this is a young man who's about 19 years old and he's saying these things on a camera phone. We don't know why he's saying these things, but we know how he's saying them, and it doesn't sound very serious in the least.
Hello. My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds. I think I could get done.
Alright, that's the first example right there. I think I could get done. Is basically a person slipping up on their words, not really thinking too hard about their words, not really paying much attention to it, just kind of letting it roll off, never really having thought about what he was going to say in particular. I think I got good to get done. It's just the first example in this very short video clip of Nik Cruz almost entirely not even making sense.
Location is Stone Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event. And when you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am. You're all going to die.
Alright, so before we go on, I have heard people talk about this particular video and call it chilling. Or things like, oh, look at this terrifying footage. Nothing could be less intimidating than pew, 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 I'm gonna shoot all y'all and stuff. It really is inconsequential. Nobody would really take heed to it necessarily. Alright? It's not very impressive. If Nikolas Cruz was this killer, alright, and he was out to kill a whole bunch of people and look like some sort of badass killer, his videos aren't very impressive, unfortunately. And so with that being said, we're going to listen to the rest of the video real quick.
Yeah, can't wait. Alright, so here's the plan. I'm going to go take an Uber in the afternoon before 2:40. From there I'll go onto school campus, walk up the stairs, unload my bags, and get my AR and shoot people down at the main courtyard. Await, and people will die. Today is the day that it all begins. The day of my massacre shall begin. All the kids in school will run in fear and hide. From the wrath of my power, they will know who I am. I am nothing, I am no one. My life is nothing and meaningless. Everything that I hold dear, I let go beyond your half. Every day, I see the world ending another day. I live a lone life, live in seclusion and solitude. I hate everyone and everything. With the power of my AR, you will all know who I am. I had enough of being told what to do and when to do. I had enough of telling me that I'm an idiot and a dumbass. But in real life, you're all the dumbass. You're all stupid and brainwashed by the political government programs. You will all see, you will all know who my name is. My love for you, Angie, will never go away. I hope to see you in the afterlife. And one day or another, you will end and we'll all die.
Alright, so we're about to go back over it. Hold on. We're about to go back over that little bit of clip that we just saw, but before we do, I want to mention the fact is that if someone were trying to dub over the first part of the videos, it wouldn't necessarily be necessary to do it on the rest of the videos because you're not seeing Nikolas's face to begin with. Alright. I want to bring that up, but I also want to bring up, like I said, what we were talking about. The fact is, his little monologue is pretty much what it is contradicting itself. It's not making any sense. Whoever decided to say this on video, I guess that would be a Nik Cruz, didn't think too hard about what he was saying at all. None of his thoughts are very well thought out. Alright, for example, he's nothing, he is nobody. Alright. Right, he's nothing, he's nobody, don't worry about it. Kind of sounds like a stereotypical thing, what you would imagine a 19-year-old might imagine coming from the movies or something like that. I am nothing, I am no one. This is my desperate last attempt to blah, 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 whatever else. Alright, it's very contradicting with his statement of "Y'all will all know my name" and blah blah blah. You'll feel the power of my AR. I'm sorry about that. It's a little contradictory, like in the way that it seems as though he feels like the world is nothing. He is no one. It's all meaningless. However, he desperately wants certain people to know his name and to feel his power and stuff. Like, it's really not thought out all too well. And before we get out of here, I just want to mention what's probably the most important detail. Besides the fact is that this is very poorly done at the most, and besides the fact that this is not hard evidence in the least, this is merely, like I said, circumstantial. I want to point out at the end, there's a very big something to grasp onto. Like I said, we're going to be wrong from time to time about the whats, the whens, and things of this nature. We might think, oh, maybe this video was messed with. Maybe it wasn't messed with. It's hard for us to tell. But, for example, there's one detail that stands out. And that detail is the question is, who is Angie? My undying love for Angie. First of all, that is very contradictory because he talks about how lonely he is. He talks about how worthless and meaningless he is and that the world is, and he wants everybody to desperately remember him. And he also talks about Angie, which is a person that, as far as we know, does not exist. She did not get shot up that day. I'm saying? Nikolas Cruz never mentioned an Angie except in this particular instance. All that we know of. It's crucial to get to the bottom of that particular detail. I have to emphasize. Angie's she's going to prove to be crucial. And you would assume that would be the case, seeing as he does profess his undying love for her. All right. Before we get out here, I do want to mention something that I forget to mention from time to time. But take this video, for example. Nikolas Cruz trying to be the next school shooter. His goal is to get about like 20 some odd people. You'd have to imagine that he's very willing to die in this certain situation. I mean, you're not thinking unless you're considering, okay, in this situation, I plan to shoot up the whole school. There's a very good chance that I'll die, that I'll get cut down in this gunfire. In fact, that's probably what you want. He's talking about the afterlife in the video. He's like, oh man, I hope I see Angie in the afterlife, this and that. Alright, this sounds like a person who's ready to die. Meanwhile, he's also a person who very willingly adhered and complied with all the police, as far as getting detained. Like, he was not a fight. He did not put up a fight. It's not the same person. This person who wanted to die and everything like that, he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. He wanted Angie to remember him. He wanted all the people to remember him and his power and stuff like that. So meanwhile, he easily, without a fight at all, gets detained by the police. We're talking about an hour later after he blended into the crowd and decided to get away. And that in and of itself does not make any sense, because even if Nikolas Cruz was a murdering genius, even if that was the case, and he happened to get away, blend in the crowd, go hang out at the Walmart and the Subway for about an hour, even if that was the case, Nikolas Cruz has to know that there ain't no way he's getting away with it because of the school footage. The footage from the cameras, the surveillance footage. There's not a shot in the dark ever that Nikolas Cruz is going to get away with it. So why he wanted to get out and go to the Subway for about an hour, even though he knows for a fact that he's going to get caught, I couldn't even dream of telling you. There is no sort of logic to it, not at all. All right, it's not a young boy who's willing to die and stuff out in a blaze of glory and stuff. That's just not what happened. It's clearly not what happened. All right, so there's all sort of details in this particular video, and I'm sure whatever little baby bits of evidence that they want to give to us, they're also going to be nonsensical. They're also going to be full of holes. They're also going to be filled with clues, all sort of clues to let us know that there's a major cover-up happening right here, and they're hoping that we don't think about it too hard. Anyway, it's June the 10th, 2018. I thank y'all and I appreciate y'all for everything that y'all do and just for being here and stuff like this. We're really getting to the bottom of stuff, man. We're figuring out some stuff that we're not supposed to know, but we done figured it out anyways. All right, so I'll holler at y'all a little bit later with some more stuff.